This is the Fever 1793 final test. Make sure you put your first name, your last name, what class period you have, language arts, second, fourth, or sixth. Question 1. What does the word rouse mean on page 1? Thrilling, exciting, calm, wake. Question 2. In chapter 1, how does Matilda Cook feel about doing chores? Excited, lazy, energetic, neutral. Question 3. What business does Matilda's family own? Chapter 2. Bakery, printing press, coffee house, tea house. Question 4. Why won't Maddie's mother let her attend Polly's funeral? This is from chapter 3. Her mother is worried, jealous, angry, bitter. Question 5. What did some of the wealthier families of the city do when the fever became an epidemic? The wealthier families imported their own coffee beans, fled to the country where the air was cleaner, insisted the refugees be deported, paid doctors and scientists to find a cure. Question 6. Why is the invitation to the Ogilvies for tea so important for Maddie's future, according to her mother? The Ogilvies have a son about Maddie's age, and she needs to start thinking about husband material. The Ogilvies are tea importers, and they can get a better price on tea from their import business. The Ogilvies have political connections, and Mrs. Cook would love to cater a state dinner for the president. The Ogilvies are good friends of Mother and Grandfather, and Mother needs to spend time with old friends. Question 7. While stranded on the side of the road in Chapter 12, Grandfather says, "We must form our battle plans, both for this skirmish and for the rest of the war." What does Grandfather mean by this? He and Matilda not only need to find a way home, but also how to get Matilda a husband, figure out how to get back to Mother, but also find a cure for yellow fever, create a plan to retrieve their clothes from the wagon, but also how to increase business at the coffee house, get off the roadside, but also what they will do to survive and get their lives back together. Question 8. In Chapter 13 on page 89, Matilda reveals a tough question she has for herself. Why couldn't I have acted strong and calm like Eliza instead of blubbering like a baby? When we discover a tough question during reading, we ask the following question. What does this question tell me about the character? This tough question tells me that Matilda is worried about Eliza's well-being, recognizes that she would like to be more mature, wants to be a cook, is trying hard to be like Eliza. Question 9. What soldier's trick does Maddie use to locate water? This is from Chapter 12. Follow the birds and small animal tracks. Use a divining stick, a forked branch, and it will point down to water. Find the willow trees and you'll find water. Find dirt in the grass to trace a water well. Question 10. When Maddie wakes up in the hospital, why is she afraid to be at Bush Hill? This is from Chapter 14. She has heard it has a high death rate. She is afraid it is too dirty based on what she has heard. She is scared she will not make it out alive. She has heard the charge for her stay is more than she can afford. Question 11. Once Maddie has fully recovered, where does the hospital clerk want to send her? Chapter 16. To the Luddingtons' farm, to the orphan house, to the Peels' house, to the Ogilvies' house. Question 12. Read the following from Chapter 17. This is from page 126. A tear surprised me by rolling down my cheek. None of that, Maddie girl, I whispered to myself as I scrubbed the tear away. This is not the time to be childish. Which signpost is this an example of? Memory moment, words of the wiser, aha moment, or contrast and contradiction, which is a character change. Question 13. How do Maddie and Grandfather eat since the market is closed? This is from Chapter 18. They beg for food on the streets. They return to Bush Hill as volunteers. They scrounge in the garden and pull what little there is left on the plants. They sell their personal belongings for money and food. Question 14. In chapter 19 on page 148, Matilda reveals a tough question she asked herself. I straightened his arms and legs so he might lay with some dignity. What should I do next? When we discover a character asking themselves a tough question during reading, we ask the following question. What does this question tell me about the character? This tough question tells me that Matilda needs help with what to do with grandfather's body, needs someone else to help her with grandfather's death, does not need anyone else except her, does not need anyone else to help her, wants to make sure she does right by the grandfather she loves so much. Question 15. When grandfather tells Maddie he's leaving her, what does he mean? This is from chapter 20. He's dying. He's going back to Bush Hill. He's going out to look for mother. He's going out to get some food. Question 16. Read the following from chapter 20, from page 153, and decide if it is an example of internal or external conflict. A spiteful voice hissed in my head. Shut up, Maddie, the voice said. You're a silly child. You have no business ordering these men around. Stop interfering and get out. Is this an internal conflict, external conflict? Which one is it? Question 17. When Maddie finally reconnects with Eliza, what piece of good news does she learn about Lucille, her mother? Chapter 21. Mother survived and headed out to the Ludington farm. Mother is living at the orphan house and working part-time. The Peels allowed her into the house at Nathaniel's urging. Mother moved in with the Ogilvies until the fever had passed. Question 18. Read the following from chapter 24. This is from page 196. No, I said firmly, I'm not going anywhere. The work will go faster if you have me there, and you shouldn't walk home alone after dark. What signpost is this an example of? Aha moment, memory moment, tough question, words of the wiser. Question 19. Read the following from chapter 25. This is from page 207. Where was the little girl who planted the bean seeds? Where were mother and grandfather and the dead mouse that flew out the window and Blanchard's yellow silk balloon that tugged against its ropes, hungry to escape the confines of the prison yard? What became of it all? When we discover a character asking themselves a tough question during reading, we ask the following question. What do these questions tell me about the character? These tough questions tell me that Matilda is missing life before the yellow fever pandemic, hopes someone comes to help her soon, has found comfort in handling her current situation, is confused by all that has happened. Question 20. What is the theme of this novel? People who commit crimes may be punished in unexpected ways. Gossip can cause serious damage to a community. Friends are not always trustworthy. Challenging times brings out the good and the bad in people. All right, good luck. Make sure you go back and look in your book, look at your reading log, and do your best.